What's up, guys? Thank you so much for tuning back into the channel. I'm super excited to be chatting with you guys today about a topic that I asked you guys if you wanted to hear more about it on Instagram. I did a little poll. I was asking what you guys wanted to see on my YouTube channel, and I have a lot of people that want me to talk more about my anxiety and kind of how I deal with it, what anxiety is to me, all of these things. And I feel like it's a topic that's it's something that so many people deal with, especially women, especially in today's society, and we should start chatting about it. And I realize that starts with me. If I'm not chatting about it, how do I expect other people to open up about it? So that's what we're going to chat about today. I've talked about it a little bit in the past, but today I'm really going to open up and share kind of my view on anxiety, how I have dealt with it, everything like that. So I just want to preface this video with saying that I personally believe that anxiety is a sign or a symptom. I used to play victim to thinking that anxiety and depression were just something imbalanced in my brain, that it was something that I needed to take medication for the rest of my life for. I still do take medication for it. I'm trying to get off of it, but we'll talk about that more in a little bit. But I want to just preface by saying that I believe it's a sign or a symptom, and that I'm not trying to start arguments or anything like that. If you don't resonate with that message, you should probably just click out of the video. But this is for people that kind of resonate with that they feel in their heart and soul that that is also true for them. So I just wanted to get that out there and let you guys know, if you don't believe the same thing, you don't have to watch this video. I don't want to start arguments. I don't want to, what's the word I'm looking for? Fight about it. What is the word? When people go back and forth, I can't even think of the word right now. Whatever. But just wanted to start the video off by saying that. So I have dealt with anxiety all of my life. It's been something that I have struggled with for literally ever. And even as a little girl, I would have panic attacks at sleepovers. I'd have to have my mom come pick me up. It was all throughout school, everything. That was just kind of my norm. I just kind of thought that that was normal. That was something that everyone freaked out about, every little thing. They got really fearful of everything. They freaked out. They had to be in control. That was just the way I've always been. So I just thought that that was what everybody else experienced. I've also experienced anxiety attacks multiple times. I still do. So I know what that feels like, and I know how serious that can be. And I also know what it feels like for that to run your life and to let that consume you and be really destructive. Really, I keep saying, I thought it was my norm. I thought that it was something I would always deal with. I let it really take the front seat, take the driver's seat, run my life. I let it, dictate all of my decisions and everything. And I just always thought that that was just permanent, that I would have to be stuck in that state. It was just my norm. And like I mentioned a little bit previously, I got on depression and anxiety medication whenever I was 15 years old. So I've been on it for almost 7 years now. And I have been, I took a higher dosage in the beginning. I've kind of dwindled down. I've tried to get off of it. It was absolutely terrible. I had to get back on. And even though I've been on that medication, it's just helped to kind of mask the symptoms a little bit, but I have still experienced anxiety attacks, depression, anxiety coming back, and all of those things. And I really, truly believe in my heart and soul that the medication is just a Band-Aid. And that the real thing that you have to get down to that really big root issue going on. Now, this can come from so many things. It can come from your upbringing, the mindset that you have, your thoughts, your beliefs, your stories that you have. It can come from circumstances. It can come from dysfunctions in your body, things like blood sugar dysregulation, like hormonal imbalances, like digestive dysfunction. It can come from taking different medications or vaccines or antibiotics. There's a lot of things that these symptoms of anxiety can come from. So I just wanted to say that, and I truly believe, I don't have all the answers, I'm getting all these tasks done, but I personally believe that my anxiety came from, number one, a mindset and stories and thoughts that I've always had in my head, that I've made that my reality, right? Number two is going to be body dysfunction, so hormonal imbalances, adrenal fatigue, and digestive dysfunction. It has been shown time and time again that digestive dysfunction and anxiety are so closely related. Your gut is your second brain, and so that has been something very, very true and real for me. I just don't know exactly what the digestive dysfunction is yet, but it's definitely there. I'm getting tests done to figure out exactly what it is. But for me, I really truly believe that's where that came from. So, like I said, I want to try to get off of the medication. I just have to figure out what's going on with my body first and healing my body so that I can heal my mind as well. So that's kind of my mindset around it. So I want to tell you guys a little bit about what I've personally done, what's personally helped me. Obviously, I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I am not any expert in this area. I'm just telling you about my personal experience. Hopefully you can take some of this and maybe use it, maybe take and use what you would like. I just want to tell you guys my experience because you seem to be interested in it from Instagram. So number one, what's helped me is taking an objective lens. And this means taking a step back from myself and trying to get out of my own freaking head that goes crazy and wild all the time and never stops running, and just trying to look at the anxiety as a sign and a symptom. Thinking about, okay, this is obviously coming from somewhere. This doesn't have to be a permanent state, but this is obviously coming from something. So maybe it's coming from that digestive dysfunction, or maybe it's coming from a circumstance. Maybe it's coming from a thought that I am saying in my head. Maybe it's because I feel out of control. Taking it as a sign or a symptom of something that's going on. Also, taking that objective lens of this doesn't have to control me. I don't have to be a victim to this. Because a lot of the time, let's be honest, we are very comfortable in this state. It is normal for us. I know that sounds a little counterintuitive, but if you think about it, this is your norm. This is something that you're used to. It feels normal, and it's just something that you've dealt with for a while, so you know what this feels like, right? But the thing is, that's kind of a comfortable state for us, and so we kind of get married to that state. We just kind of accept it as what's normal for us. That's who we are, so we kind of just fall victim to this and just stay in that state. Number two that I have done that's personally helped me is making dietary changes. I cannot tell you how much your diet impacts the way that you feel on a daily basis and how your body is functioning. And dietary interventions are the first step that people should make if they're experiencing any sort of emotional or mental health issues. I really truly believe that, because the food that you're putting in your body is information that your body's running on, and it can just directly impact the way that you feel mentally and physically. So dietary intervention, I think, is the most important thing. I personally have always eaten a pretty healthy diet, but where I really saw a lot of the changes whenever I switched to a high-fat, low-carb style of eating. You guys know I promote the keto lifestyle. It's been shown time and time again that it's very, very helpful for whole body regulation, but specifically hormonal balancing, and also it can be very, very, very helpful for just getting the crap out of your diet, getting out that stuff that is causing inflammation in your body, that's causing you to feel really crappy, that isn't meant to be in your body. So that is what I recommend, is a keto lifestyle. It's going back to whole natural foods, balancing out your hormones, getting in the healthy sustainable fats that are going to make your body feel good. So that is personally what I recommend. Obviously, you know, maybe it's not for everybody, but that's personally what I have done. It's been very, very helpful for my mental health. Number three is going to be lifestyle changes. There are so many things that goes into this. I just want to quickly read off. I wrote a list here of kind of the bigger stuff that I have done. I want to tell you guys these things. So being outside and in the sunshine, I literally, guys, I moved from where I lived to a warmer sunnier place because I realized how much my environment affected what was going on up here. So I get to be outside on a daily basis. I get to go on walks or sit on my porch or other things. It's made such a huge difference, and vitamin D is a huge deficiency, and most of the time, like, it's because people aren't getting outside and they aren't eating the right foods that can make their body process that vitamin D and make the vitamin D. So that's been huge for me. Meditation. I always thought that I could never do meditation because it kind of freaked me out. Like, if you have anxiety, your mind's always running, right? But it's been something that I have had to discipline myself to do. It takes a lot of practice, but it's a daily part of my routine. It literally, I do it first thing in the morning, and it sets me up into a much more peaceful, calm state before I even start the day. Also, with that deep breathing, that's how I started doing meditation. I would start just taking 10 deep breaths in the morning because meditation was like scary. So I would just start with taking 10 deep belly breaths, and that's how I started meditation. You can also do guided meditations, but that really helps to slow down your mind, get you into a more peaceful state, get you into a more clear head, get you to calm down a little bit. Has been very, very helpful for me. Also, journaling. I journal so much. I go through like a journal every 2 weeks. This is kind of where I started my intervention with my anxiety. I write out all of my thoughts. It helps so much to get them down on paper, especially whenever you're in that like freak out mode. I will literally write, I am freaking the fuck out, I am freaking the fuck out, and I just write what's going on in my head, because as soon as you can get those thoughts out of your head onto a sheet of paper, you can look at them more objectively and kind of figure out, is this my truth? Is what's going on in my head, do I really need to be freaking out about this? It can just help you, again, take that objective lens, take a step back, and it really helps to get those thoughts out. It's kind of like if you can call someone and talk to them, that's what I do too. I have some go-to people that I can call if I need to like really get out of my state, get someone to help me be a little bit more objective and calm down. That's really helpful as well. But journaling is huge, and I just find it so helpful. Another thing is going to be adding in play and free time and creativity time. This is so huge, and I've realized that it's just a vital part of feeling fulfilled and happy and decreasing anxiety is adding in play to your life, whatever that may look like. If that's coloring, if that's getting outside and playing sports, if that is playing a musical instrument, if that's getting up and dancing, like anything. Adding in play is so essential because it gets you out of that hustle mode. It gets you out of your head. It helps you just get into this childlike space, get more creative. You gotta do it. You gotta do it. Also, another thing is exercise. You guys know I am a fitness type of person, and exercise is just so essential. It helps get all of your body functioning properly, your hormones regulated. It helps get the stress out. It helps get the good boosting mood hormones up. I don't know exactly what they are, but exercise is so essential. It helps you get out of your head. It helps you challenge yourself. All of those things. And then lastly, I wrote down gratitude. I do a gratitude practice every single day, and whenever I am experiencing anxiety, the first thing that I do is I drop down into gratitude. I say, what do I have right now? What do I need, right? So do I have what I need? Do I have food on my body? Do I have food in my fridge? I drop down into gratitude and say, what do I have in this moment? What can I be grateful for in this moment? I have a roof over my head. And then, I have food in my fridge. I have some people that love me. I have a job. I have, just drop down into gratitude. It helps you get into that state. And again, you can journal those things out. And I would normally fill up an entire page of gratitude. And that really helps me to chill out, calm down, and get a little bit more objective. Lastly, I put down people. The people that you surround yourself with are so huge into the way that your mind is working. You are the sum of the 5 people you spend your time around. You need to take a look around who you're spending your time around. And I know that you can't exactly control maybe who you work with, the people in your work environment, but there are things you can do to get out those negative things, right? So maybe there's some super negative people at work. maybe you try to avoid those people as much as possible and start getting towards the more positive people, or maybe just spending a little bit more time alone. That's okay sometimes too. Finding people in your life that are going to influence you in a positive way that you can turn to whenever you are struggling. Like I talked about, I have those go-to people. You want to have people around you that are going to help your mindset rather than hinder it and push you more into that anxiety state and, you know, that negative hole of anxiety and negative thoughts and all of those things. Now, the fourth thing that I have done, and is that a little bit more harder to explain, I guess, is mindset shifts. And some of the biggest things that I have done to kind of shift my mindset is asking myself, what is truth to me? So whenever you are in those anxious states, whenever you are kind of getting down into that rabbit hole of anxiety, you guys know what I'm talking about. It's really easy to spin down into that cycle, right? It kind of just spins out of control. The first thought, you start it with one thought, and everything you start to get anxious about it, you just go into this spiral, right? So the first thing I always ask myself is, what is truth? What is the objective truth right now? Because a lot of the time we just start with that one thought and we just keep going down and down and down and like, what if? Or is this happening? Oh my gosh, what if? Blah, blah, blah. You know, we start asking ourselves all these questions. We start questioning everything. So just slow down and think about, what is truth right now? What is truth? Another thing is that I go through a thought model, and I always went through this in my head whenever I first learned about it, but what's really most powerful is to go through it on paper. I don't know why it's so much more powerful, but I think it's just getting your thoughts down on this sheet of paper to be able to look at them more objectively is very helpful. It helps you slow down a lot more, get out of your head, right? So you write down the thought model. And that is, your thoughts create your feelings, which create your actions, which drive your results. So I might be having an anxious feeling of, I don't have enough money. And that is freaking me out, right? That's causing a lot of anxiety because I don't have enough money. How is that causing me to feel? Well, it's causing me to feel very, very anxious, right? It's causing me to feel scared, anxious, fearful, all those things. So what action is that causing me to take? Well, I'm really not getting anything done because I'm sitting here so anxious and I'm crying and I'm freaking out. I don't know what to do. And so it's like inaction, right? Just sitting there freaking out. The result is no action, right? Inaction. It's going to be freaking out more, just sitting on the couch, crying, and not getting anything accomplished because I am stuck in that anxiety state, right? Okay, so how could we flip that? So maybe the thought instead that we could think would be, I am working, so this is actually the thought model that I had to go through on paper that I was actually having like a really big anxiety attack about. So I'm just gonna tell you guys. So the thought, I went through a few different thoughts and they weren't helpful, but finally I got to a thought, I wrote it down and I was like, okay, the thought was, I am creating a wonderfully successful business. The feeling was excited, motivated, and then the action was figuring out things that light me up, that make me feel excited and passionate, figuring out ways that I could grow and grow my business and grow myself. And the action is working towards the things that I can do to make money, working towards the things that can help me grow, right? So you see the two different ways that you can spin it. So I really recommend going through that thought model and thinking about the things of your thoughts create your feelings, which create your actions, which drive the results. And I recommend you guys Google this, and it gives you so many examples and so many things that you can really relate this to in your life and figure out how to apply that model to your life. Other thing that I've really had to work on with my mindset shift is trusting my intuition and gut. Whenever you are an anxious person, whenever you're dealing with anxiety, you question yourself a lot. And you negotiate with yourself a lot. I know for me, I was negotiating with myself on every decision. It didn't matter what it was about. It would be a decision of where we wanted to go out to eat. And I would pick something and then I would negotiate with myself and make it into this huge deal, right? I couldn't stick to a decision. I would constantly negotiate with myself. I would constantly question myself. And this was really debilitating, really. Like, it was really, really debilitating. So something I had to do is I had to really start shifting into trusting my gut, trusting my intuition, because I was so out of tune with it. So that was something that was really, really huge for me and that I've really had to work on. in order to make myself feel better and just sit in that trust and know that my gut is telling me the right answer, that my intuition is correct, that I don't need to question myself, I don't need to go negotiate. I just have to decide and I have to trust. Another thing is going to be understanding the control aspect of anxiety. Control plays such a huge role in anxiety, and I know for me, most of the time whenever I am having these really, really anxious moments, whenever I am experiencing a lot of anxiety, I'm trying to control something. And most of the time, if we take a really objective lens, we're trying to control a circumstance or some outside thing that we aren't directly in control of. So I really want you guys to think about that and take a step back and just say, what am I trying to control? Is it something that is actually in my control, or can I just sit back and focus on me and what I can control? Because most of the time we're trying to control something like some sort of outcome or some circumstance or some person, right? And most of the time, we need to take a step back and we need to just focus on what we can control. So maybe it's our attitude, maybe it's our actions, maybe it's what we can do in that moment. Really think about, what am I trying to control? What can I control? What is the truth in this situation? Really, so taking a step back and being more objective. Lastly, a huge part of what I have done for my mindset, for helping me with my anxiety, is increasing my spirituality. And I am a Christian, I believe in God, and so a lot of what I turn to whenever I am having those anxious moments, the first thing that I go to is my faith. And I know it's a sign or a symptom. I know that I have a God to turn to whenever, I am having those moments. I'm constantly going to scripture that I can go to that's telling me, do not be anxious, do not be afraid, I will provide, all of these things. So that is something that has been very, very helpful for me. I know that not everybody is like that, but that increasing my faith, trusting in my faith, knowing that God is there for me, that is something that has helped me so tremendously. And the more that I trust and I lean and I learn, and the more that I talk to God, the better I feel. So I know this is kind of long, but I just wanted to go over, I just wanted to be real with you guys and tell you guys what my experience has been, what has helped me, and what I do in those really anxious moments, what you can do, what possibly you could take from this. I want to give you guys as much as I can, because this is something that I know the struggle, I know how hard it is, and I know how it can consume you and take over you. And so I just want to give you guys some tips, tell you guys what I personally do, because I do a ton of stuff. There is a ton of stuff you can do, but that's just some of the stuff that you guys should look at, that you guys should think about, some of the things that you can do in those moments. I've been dealing with this for a really long time, and I finally have gotten out of that victim mode and realized that this does not have to control me, this does not have to consume me, that I can move beyond this, that I don't have to be a victim to it anymore. I know it's a sign or a symptom. So that is just what I wanted to tell you guys today. I hope this video was helpful. If you guys have any tips and tools that you guys use whenever you are experiencing anxiety, anything that you guys do, leave it down below and we can share, we can get ideas from each other. I would love to hear your guys' responses, things that you guys do, everything like that. So I hope this message was touching somebody. I hope it was helpful, and I will talk to you guys soon.